Hey guys, today we're doing random PreCure opinions part 3. I have not done this series in forever, but yes, let's get started. So why don't we start off with some Tropical Rouge stuff since it's fresh and fun and new. But basically I lied in my last video where I said Summer's design was my least favorite. After seeing it in animation and stuff and the previews and all the new art and stuff, it actually looks really pretty to me. I love her like long ponytail with the pink ombre into the yellow. It just gives me like smoothie vibes. Overall, I really like the Tropical Rouge designs, and like I said in my previous videos, I'm pretty disappointed that none of them are dark skinned. I mean, it's ridiculous how it's like a tropical season and none of them are dark. Some new season themes I want to see in like future PreCure seasons are, well, the first one would be like a traditional Japanese theme season, and what I mean by this is like cherry blossoms, and they all have like kimono or yukata inspired PreCure outfits, similar to what Sakura is wearing from PreCure Dream Stars. I love her outfit, like the kimono inspired top and the sleeves. Also her ombre stockings are probably my favorite part because they're just like so stylish and so trendy. But yeah, she just looks really awesome. So for that to be an actual season, that would be great. Maybe there could be a Cure with a fan weapon who can like blow a gust of like cherry blossom filled wind or something like that, like a little cyclone. And a Cure with like a shamisen, and she can like play a little tune to heal the enemy or like destroy the enemy. It's her call. But yeah, like a nice little traditionally themed Japanese season. There is like a fan season out there called Simple PreCure, and they all had like simple like kimono inspired outfits or just Japanese traditional attire, I guess. And there's a green one, so I love her. Another theme I would love to see would be a fantasy or storybook theme. Small PreCure kind of touched upon it, but that was kind of a sub theme. The fairy tale theme was kind of in the background. The Cures weren't actually based on fairy tales. They were just like generic elements like fire and thunder and stuff like that. So maybe this fantasy storybook theme, there could be a main Cure based on like Cinderella or something, and we can have Cure who's like a witch. Maybe she could be like a mid-season, like a purple, like edgy witch. And then there could be like a Jack and the Beanstalk Cure, obviously green, stuff like that, like based on fairy tales. And lastly, a season that I would love to see is an art themed season. I know a lot of people, next to mermaid season, an art themed season is a request by fans that I see a lot. So it'd be great to see Cures with different types of like art abilities. Maybe like the main Cure would be paintbrush and paint and stuff. And there could be like a digital art Cure, and then there's one who's like markers. I love markers. So yeah, but I feel like if that was to actually happen, they wouldn't give each Cure a specific theme. By the way, they could also do like sculpting and stuff because we love a sculptor. But I feel like they wouldn't do like each Cure has their own thing. They would all be painters, or they would all be also, it would be a great excuse again to have like a rainbow color palette like Smile, so I can get my green Cure. So in this section I want to talk about Cures whose plot lines could have been written a lot better, and their plot lines just got the short end of the stick basically. The first one being Saya, aka Cure Orange. Basically, Saya was this sweet girl who is very quiet, and her mom is an actress, and the profession of acting was passed down to her, and she's like this like booming actress. She was first in this commercial, like a carrot commercial or like a fruit juice commercial, I really don't remember, but her heart is just not in acting, and she wants to be pursue medicine and be a doctor. But for me, like, I feel like the problem with this plotline was that when Saya was an actress, she was like getting a lot of accolades and doing really nicely, and she was like popping, but then she was like, I'm just not feeling it, like I want to do medicine. For me, this plotline just wasn't that believable or like relatable, I guess, because she was already doing well at acting. I think it would be different, for example, if she was really trash at it and her mom was like, look, Saya, like, come on, get it together, like, what's wrong? And she was like, well, mom, like, I don't want to be an actress because I'm really not good at it, and my passion is medicine or to be a doctor, as opposed to like, oh, like, I'm really great at it, but I don't want to do it, you know what I mean? I think the message of getting kids into the medical field is like really nice and awesome and all that, but by having her be a great actress, it kind of like blurs that message a little bit. So she should have been bad at it, and the message would be like, well, we can't all be actors. But yeah, that would have been a great way to like lead up to it basically. Also, besides that, she just really did not get enough screen time, especially when Amidu and Lulu came in. Her unpopularity also comes from like her design. Like, I personally don't have a problem with it, but I know some people like don't like her hairstyle. Overall, Cure Orange is a very underrated Cure, but she's also not really one of my favorites, to be honest. The next Cure whose plot could have been written better was Cure Chocolat, aka Akira, but basically I think that her episodes revolved too much around her little sister. There could have been more episodes with Akira just by herself. So I was actually trying to do more Cures in this section, but honestly that's all I could think of right now. So if you have any Cures who you also were not a fan of their storyline, tell me yours down below. So here are my thoughts on Glitter Forest. Starting with the good things, I mean, it brings people into the fandom, I guess, because I know a lot of people who They first discovered PreCure from Glitter Force on Netflix, and they were curious and they went on YouTube and they saw these other characters and they're like, oh, it's a whole franchise called PreCure, and that's how they got into it. And that's good, whatever. But like at the same time, that still could have been achieved if they had not changed the name, which is something I'm really, really not a fan of. Like I'm not a fan of like how Saban changed the name from PreCure to Glitter Force, because it only creates more confusion. This is very like for kids vibes. This is very like early 2000s, 90s. So for them to do this in like 2016, it's so unnecessary. It's also just an unnecessary infantilization of the American audience, because it's like, I don't know, when I was a kid, like I liked the things that were Japanese. For example, with Sailor Moon, even the characters' Japanese names, I thought it was like fascinating, and different like Japanese snacks and just culture. It's like interesting to kids. Like kids aren't gonna be like, whoa, what is this PreCure stuff? Like that sounds so weird. And I also find it like pretty weird how they like removed all the Japanese like words from literally all the signs. Something I do like about Glitter Force is the voices, though. I think all the voices are excellent, especially for the Smile PreCure cast. Especially Sunny's voice, I just love it. It's so tomboyish, like just the way she goes like, hey Emily, like I'm Glitter Sunny, like I just love it.
Play with fire! I'm Glitter Sunny!
I also think the ending songs are pretty catchy, honestly.
Come on, let's go, my best friend. You know I always got a plan.
But I also really hate how they talk during the transformation. It's super obnoxious and super unnecessary. Because they seem to think like kids won't pay attention to the screen if a character is not speaking at every waking moment. And yeah, it just makes the animation just very unwatchable. I also really don't like how they darken the screen or whatnot during transformations and attacks. I think that's to like prevent eye problems with kids, but I don't know if they can get away with it with kids in Japan. Like I don't see why kids in America would be any different. So yeah, besides the voices, I really don't like anything about Glitter Force. My favorite PreCure opening of all time, I have decided, is the Yes PreCure 5 opening, not the Go-Go one, the original. I know in my previous random PreCure opinions video I said it was the Healing Good opening, and I promised that it wasn't because it was fresh and new at the time, but it was because it was fresh and new at the time. So my actual favorite opening is indeed the Yes PreCure 5 opening. It has a very superhero-esque sound to it, and also kung fu vibes for some reason, the part that goes like... And this part sounds so nostalgic and wholesome. I didn't even grow up with PreCure or anything, but I can definitely imagine like people who watch as a kid like loving that part. I definitely prefer this opening over the S5 Go-Go opening. That one was kind of a downgrade to me. Like it's not like bad or anything, but it's just really not as catchy. And my favorite ending is also the Yes PreCure 5 ending. And my second favorite ending is Yell For You from Hagto PreCure. I know I've changed up my favorite openings and endings in the past, but these are my definitive favorite opening and endings, so if I ever change them in the future random PreCure opinions, then you know I'm a liar. Okay, so now I want to talk about some of my favorite PreCure fight scenes. Obviously not all of them, just like a few of them that are at the top of my mind right now. The first one is Cure March versus Majorina. The scene was so powerful and so dark. Actually, I'm pretty sure if I was a child watching this, I would have been like kind of traumatized, but it was really epic nonetheless. And Cure March's screams were so powerful. Like she was like really going at it to protect her little brothers and sisters. Like it was it was a really epic scene. And just the way Cure March was drawn, like her expressions of like sadness and anger were amazing. And like her color was really, her green was really popping. And of course, who could forget the iconic scene from Doki Doki PreCure when Makoto, aka Cure Sword, is singing to Regina to try to free her from the brainwashing, and the other Cures are just fighting in the background. It's just an epic scene, and I love in this part because her transformation sounds match the beat of the music. Another fight scene, well, this is not necessarily a long fight, but just a moment, I guess, in Cure PreCure All Mode when the Cures are in like Noir's dimension, you know, that like purpley like dark desert place, and they use their final attack, Fantastic Animal, and it's so powerful that it causes the sky to crack. I just thought this moment was like really cool because it was like showcasing just how strong like these girls are. Like, and of course I had to include a scene from Go Princess PreCure, but basically in episode 39 when Haruka kind of reawakens back as Cure Floor and she's like not taking anything from anybody, and she goes against Close, and the other girls join her. They're like, oh wow, you found your dream back again. It's also pretty cool when Flora uses both Mermaid and Twinkle's wands to unleash 2 attacks at the same time. And I do love me a good instant transformation. Also, I really do believe that Go Princess PreCure was the last season that truly had like great fight scenes. Like I'm still fine with the current PreCure fight scenes and stuff. Some of them are a little lackluster, like Star Twinkle especially, but you know, ever since Go Princess PreCure ended, it was never really the same, but it's fine. Like I'm fine with it, it's whatever. But the action will be missed. My favorite PreCure transformation theme is Go Princess PreCure's Princess Engage. I love this theme. It also has a special place in my Kokoro because this was the season that was first airing as I got into PreCure 2015. And for me, I just love this theme because of the juxtaposition between like the ballroom-esque dance music. It goes like do 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 do, and like the beat that kind of goes hard. And I just love when the beat goes hard in like PreCure transformation themes because it really like hypes you up for the battle ahead. My second most favorite transformation theme would have to be Curfetice's theme. I love the part that goes like la 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 la. It's just so badass, and she's like sitting on the flower. She's like, okay, we're ready to battle. Like, what's good? Like, I'm here and I'm ready on my little flower. Well, it's a big flower, but she's ready. So yeah, that's a really nice theme. I would love a PreCure season where they fight using swords, maybe similar to Cure PreCure when there was like minimal physical combat. The same thing can apply for this season where they use swords, like magical swords. Maybe there can be a Cure with like an ice sword, like she's maybe a ballerina or something. Like again, like keep in mind, like there would be like no physical combat as like a style choice of the season. There can be like maybe like a rose themed Cure, like a green like rose themed Cure, and her sword can like emit like leaves and like thorns and stuff like that. So yeah, like a sword theme season would be cool, like Utena vibes. I haven't watched Utena, so yeah, but that'd be like really interesting. Updated favorite season and least favorite season list. Favorite season is still Hugcho. My second favorite season, I think instead of Kira, it has to be Yes PreCure 5 Go-Go, but honestly, I love both Kira and Yes PreCure 5 Go-Go. My least favorite season is no longer Mahotsukai PreCure, but instead Healing Good. Again, I just don't like the season. Also, in a previous video, I was talking about how I don't necessarily like it when Cures all have the same outfit on the team, but honestly, I kind of like it now and I love the uniformity that it brings. And besides, I feel like the Cures' individual hairstyles kind of make up for this anyway. So now I want to talk about Tropical Rouge PreCure and my theory for who I think the mid-season Cure is going to be. And before I get started, I know I've taken so many L's with my theories in the past. Like I said, Healing Good PreCure is going to have a pink and green duo, or what else did I say? I was like, Cure Earth is going to be green. They're just gaslighting us with all the purple stuff. Or Cure Earth and Deruzen are the same person because they have a similar voice. So just take this one with a grain of salt or don't believe. So previously I was thinking that it's going to be Laura and it's going to be the plot line of where she's like, oh, okay, the Cures are struggling. I just want to fight for my friends and protect them. You know, she awakens, gets her tropical pact and gets human legs and becomes a human Cure, and yeah. But then I thought about it. If you look on the merch that she's on, Laura is always with the Cures. It's almost always you know, the 5 of them grouped together as if it's a group of 5 Cures. Sure, there's some scenes where you can catch just the 4 of them and Laura's not there, but for the most part, she's with them. I mean, heck, she's even on this PreCure All-Stars poster. So what I'm thinking is that since they're already advertising her and trying to sell her so much in her mermaid form, I mean, she even has a toy, the little aquapod where she's as a mermaid. For me, it would be kind of like a downgrade or counterproductive sales-wise to, you know, market her as a Cure, like she becomes a human girl. I mean, I guess since she's a Cure, like she's like gonna be like more sparkly and more decorative, but like I just don't see how turning her into a human would sell much better than how she's already selling as a mermaid. I just feel like kids are already gonna be buying the merch of her, you know, like she's already a mermaid. So when they come out with like, oh, look, she is a Cure now and stuff, I feel like, would kids really be attracted to buy that? I mean, I'm not a child, so how would I know? But for me, I'm thinking that they would just keep her how she is. And, you know, she's going to be assuming a role similar to Milky Rose and Shiny Luminous, being a non-Cure in the PreCure All-Stars collection. Like she's considered a quote-unquote Cure, but she's not like actually a Cure. But even more so than Shiny Loops and Milky Rose, because those, I consider them Cures. Laura is definitely not a Cure. Like she doesn't have like a civilian form and she doesn't have like a magical form. Like she's just kind of in the middle, like she's a magical creature. So I don't know. I feel like she's going to be considered part of the Blue Cure lineup, like an unofficial Cure, like Milky Rose and Shiny Luminous. So with Laura out of the picture for the mid-season Cure, who is it going to be? Me and another mutual are speculating that it could be a villain turn good again situation. I don't know about you, but I love this trope, Zuko vibes. Anyways, I'm super curious to see who the rest of the villains will be, because we've seen this like blue crab guy, this like grumpy crab guy in the first Tropical Rouge PreCure preview. So I'm on the lookout if there's going to be a human girl on the villain team, because I mean, in the past we've seen Eos, Siren, Twilight, and Lulu, and they became good. Sure, there were like female villains, obviously, who did not become cures, like Bibbery. And there's like a few other like, female villains who didn't become cures, but usually when they're like in the same age range as the cures, like they're not like older women or something, they usually for the most part become cures. And of course, there's a possibility of a non-villain becoming a cure, such as Augury from Doki Doki or Emidu from Hugto. But that's a bridge that I guess we can cross like once we see the villains, you know what I mean? Now let's talk about her color, and obviously you know what color I'm going to say. So we have all the colors currently on the team already. We have red, we have yellow, purple, and Laura seems to be blue. She's blue. Secondly, I know Cure Summer is technically a rainbow cure or a white cure, but she's still grouped with a pink cure, so I'm putting her into the pink category just for the sake of like this argument. This only leaves the glorious color of nature and beauty, and all that is good.
Green.
Okay, so all the colors are covered, that only leaves green, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. Basically, my theory is I don't think Laura's going to become the mid-season cure, since she's already marketed very heavily as a mermaid, the thing that makes her very sellable in the first place, so why would she become a human with legs? Therefore, the mid-season cure has to be someone else, thinking that it's going to be a villain. Could be someone who is not a villain, but like I said, we have to see the villains first. And lastly, since all of the colors of the rainbow are covered already, I'm hoping that it will be green. So yes, that is my green cure TED Talk. Thanks for coming.
I need